Thank you, Clara. Thank you, Mayor. I remember, wasn't planning to talk about this, but I do remember as the fires raged in this county, driving through that, trying to get all the aviation assets and everything we could possibly bring to bear. But the way this community has responded to such a challenge and such a test is so inspirational. And I know that, as Clara said, we will persevere. We will persevere, and we will be better at the end of the day. I truly believe that. And I have a special connection to Smithville. Fortunately just got drawn into my new district. But my grandfather survived the 1900 hurricane in Galveston, and my family moved to Smithville for a couple of years. So I have a sort of special place in my heart for Smithville. It's really an honor to join you on a day that commemorates the sacrifices of the bravest of Americans for the freedoms we hold so dear. This beautiful memorial is a testament to those who have served and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. For generations, our men and women in uniform have defended democracy in far corners of the world. And as we gather here in peace and tranquility of Smithville, we are surrounded by a world that has become increasingly volatile. It is fueled by extremist elements that fill the power vacuums created by uprisings and toppled regimes in faraway lands such as Libya, Egypt, and Syria. Their hatred now circles the globe at the speed of the internet. Make no mistake, America remains at war with this radical ideology. And as we saw in Boston, in Benghazi, and in Fort Hood, and in numerous other plots against Americans, our enemies are committed to their cause. America's armed forces are our first and best line of defense against our enemies abroad. And despite the issues that separate us politically, we are united as a nation in support of and appreciation for our courageous American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard. On this day of remembrance, I always pause to think about my father. Just like Senator Cornyn's father. He was part of what we have now called the greatest generation. In World War II, he was a B-17 bombardier navigator in the Army Air Corps. I had the unbelievable experience, sort of a bucket list thing, to go to Brenham, Texas, and fly in a B-17, and they said, "Congressman, what was your dad's position?" And I said, "Well, he was a bombardier." And they said, "Wow, he had the best view on the plane, but the deadliest seat." And when I flew in the plane, I understood what they were talking about with the .450 calibers and the Nazis targeting them. He flew on the largest bombing mission in U.S. history in support of the D-Day invasion in Normandy. It's people like my father, Senator Cornyn's father, maybe some of your parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters who have fought at moments of peril in our nation's history. Today we have a new generation of greatness that heeded the call to protect America after our homeland was attacked on 9/11. And I want to call the names of the fallen here in this county. Sergeant Mario Rodriguez, Jr., Lance Corporal Cody Stanley, Captain Joshua Meadows, Specialist Joshua Ray Ferris, Tina Marie Priest, Chief Petty Officer Matthew Mills of Navy SEAL Team 6, and Army Staff Sergeant Joseph Altman, each with ties to Bastrop County, passed away between 2006 and 2011. Today we honor their sacrifice with a sculpture of an angel, a very fitting memorial of an angel here at Veterans Memorial Park. They are our true angels, defending freedom. And to every man and woman who has donned the uniform, and to your families, we thank you for your service and your sacrifice. No less than our freedoms and our constitutional democracy are in your hands. Americans, veterans will forever hold a special standing. And we must support them not only on the battlefield, but when they come home. When they come home. Last week, I passed out of my committee, the Homeland Security Committee, a measure that was passed by the House to help. It's called the Helping Heroes Fly Act, to provide expedited airport security screening to our wounded warriors and their families. Nothing disturbed me more greatly than to see one of our soldiers who fought the terrorists, defended this nation, to have to go through secondary screening in our own airports. Well, that day is over. That day is over. We also passed legislation ensuring veterans' disability compensation, that will increase wherever there's a cost of living increase in Social Security benefits. To me, that makes sense. And also, last month, the first of 2 new community-based outpatient VA clinics opened in my district, where veterans can get the medical care that they need without driving hours to get it. I'd like to leave you with one of the greatest speeches, I think, of all time, and yet one of the shortest speeches, which I think is good advice for a lot of politicians. And it was Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. And it has on this day, it has such great significance. His words are really timeless when he spoke these words at the graveyard, when the dead were still there at Gettysburg, as they buried them. And he wrote, "The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall never perish from the earth." Thank you for allowing me to speak here today to you. I'm proud to represent you in the Congress, and I hope you're proud of me. May God bless you, Texas, and the United States of America. Thank you. I'd like to introduce our next guest, Major General Jimmy J. Wells.